everybody, this is Linus, you're watching TechLion, and in this video I want to talk about the Xperia 5 Mark II, which is the latest Sony's compact flagship device. At the first glance, this may look like a smaller brother to the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II that I reviewed before, but this phone packs pretty much the same technology but in a smaller form factor, and it even has some significant upgrades. As usual, let's take a look at all the pros and cons of this device and see if this compact Sony phone is right for you. The Xperia 5 Mark II is compact by today's standards, but it's not a tiny phone by any means. The Xperia 1 Mark II is taller and wider mainly because of a larger screen, but it sports a very similar design language. However, the Xperia 5 Mark II has rounded edges on its glossy metal frame as opposed to a boxier look on the Xperia 1 Mark II. Check out my detailed Xperia 1 Mark II review and you'll find the link to it in the video description down below. This is how the phone looks next to the iPhone 11 Pro Max and the Galaxy S20 Ultra. The Sony phone has a 6.1-inch screen that most of us now consider small, but in practice, I found the size to be pretty much perfect for social media, taking pictures, playing games, and even multimedia consumption. This IP68 certified device feels great in the hand thanks to a narrow footprint. I can easily scroll through the menus or social media feed because of that 21:9 aspect ratio display. A massive upgrade over the Xperia 1 Mark II, a 120Hz refresh rate that makes the phone feel very fast and smooth. There is also a 240Hz touch sampling rate for improved touch responsiveness and accuracy. The display itself has a lower resolution compared to the Xperia 1 Mark II, but it is just as sharp and it is a good-looking panel overall. I wouldn't say it's the brightest panel around, but it is bright enough for outdoor use. However, I wish it was brighter in direct sunlight. There are plenty of display settings to play with, and Sony's Creator Mode assures the best color accuracy possible, meaning that you can watch a movie exactly as it was envisioned by the creator. The design of the phone? Typical Sony, a rectangular shaped slab with Gorilla Glass 6 on the front and rear, and a shiny metal frame which, same as the glass material on the back, is a fingerprint magnet. Speaking of fingerprints, the scanner is integrated into a power key and it has been reliable and fast. However, there is no face unlock feature like on most of the flagships and even on budget devices. Besides a tactile volume rocker and a signature shutter key, there is a dedicated Google Assistant button that unfortunately cannot be remapped, at least at the time of this review. I can't say that I used this key a lot, but when I did, Google Assistant worked quite fast. The phone also has always-on display and a tiny yet useful LED notification light. Just like on most of the Sony phones, there is a hybrid dual SIM and a microSD card slot that can be removed with your finger, no tools required. A headphone jack is still here, and audio quality is one of the best you can get on any phone thanks to a combination of DSEE Ultimate, Dolby Atmos, high-resolution audio, and LDAC. Just like on the Xperia 1 Mark II, we have a really good sounding dual stereo speaker setup. Here is a quick audio test recorded with the Zoom H5. When it comes to hardware, we have a Snapdragon 865 at the core, which assures excellent performance no matter what you do with the phone. The UI is clean and fast, and we have a few extra features like Side Sense and multi-window that is really convenient both in portrait and landscape modes. As you may expect from a flagship device, the gaming experience is excellent. All of the 3D games just fly on the highest graphics settings, and 21:9 aspect ratio screen is useful for spotting your enemies earlier than your opponents. You can further improve your gaming experience using Game Enhancer mode. I found heat dissipation to be pretty good. Don't expect the phone to be completely cold to the touch, but it doesn't show any signs of overheating even after long gaming sessions. Just before we talk about cameras and image quality, check out my 16-minute long Xperia 1 Mark II review for a more detailed look. In this video, I'll try to be as concise as possible. The Xperia 5 Mark II has a pretty much the same camera system as the Xperia 1 Mark II, except for a dedicated TOF 3D sensor. We have a triple lens combination with an ultra-wide, wide, and 3x optical zoom shooters. One of the new features, the ability to record 4K 120 FPS videos. In fact, the Xperia 5 Mark II is the first phone in the world to have 4K 120 FPS HDR video recording option. Unfortunately, this feature is limited to Cinema Pro app that I'll talk about in just a bit. I love 120 FPS because I can slow it down to 30 FPS in post for nice slow motion footage. Just like the Xperia 1 Mark II, this phone has the Photo Pro application that allows 20 FPS continuous burst shooting, complete with autofocus and auto exposure. There is also Eye Detect autofocus that works really well on both humans and animals. Most of the shots using burst shooting mode came out nice and sharp, proving this is not just a marketing gimmick by Sony, but an actual feature that works really well in practice. My cat is a good example. Sony's Eye Detect autofocus works well even when my cat closes the eyes. Impressive stuff. If you want to take a full control of the settings and feel like a real cinematographer, the Cinema Pro app allows you to choose from different looks inspired by Sony cinema cameras used in Hollywood. There are quite a few manual settings you can adjust, just like on a Pro camera. You can choose from plenty of different cinema style looks including Venice, opaque, bright, warm, strong, and so on. The video quality is really nice. The footage looks unique and it's simply impossible to achieve these professional looks using any other stock camera app. Keep in mind that all of the videos are recorded in 21:9 aspect ratio and in HDR. Speaking of video using the main camera app, one thing that stands out, stabilization. All of the shots you see in this review were taken handheld and I love how smooth and stable the footage is. There's also plenty of detail and sharpness. A downside, stock camera application maxes out the video resolution to 4K 30 FPS. For 4K 60 and 120 FPS, you need to go to the Cinema Pro app. I've tried using Open Camera app for 60 and 120 FPS video, but the footage came out choppy. 1080p selfie video is really stable and smooth, and the overall quality is really good. However, that's the maximum resolution, while other flagships can record in 4K using the front-facing camera. When I tested daylight image quality on this phone, I compared the results to the Xperia 1 Mark II, Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra, and the iPhone 11 Pro Max. The Xperia 5 Mark II takes pretty much identical looking images to the Xperia 1 Mark II since both phones have the same hardware. The overall image quality is really good, easily among the very best in the smartphone camera world. For instance, I love how images look taken with the S20 Ultra and the iPhone 11 Pro Max, but the Xperia 5 Mark II tends to produce more neutral and true-to-life colors. Both the Galaxy and the iPhone oversaturate the colors a little bit for a better wow factor. The Xperia phone also produces pictures that are a little bit brighter. Last but not least, the dynamic range is better on the Xperia in quite a few shots. Night image quality is also really good, but there is no dedicated night mode as it kicks in automatically when the low light situation is detected, just like on the iPhone. I really wish Sony gave us a dedicated night mode. Selfie image quality is usually very good, but selfie portraits have quite a poor subject separation compared to the competition. The battery life has been really good on this phone. I could get over 8 hours of screen on time on quite a heavy usage, including taking over 200 pictures and shooting a lot of 4K videos and using 100% screen brightness setting a lot. If you reduce the screen brightness and use the phone mostly for social media and YouTube, you should expect to get over 15 hours of SOT. The Xperia 5 Mark II supports USB power delivery up to 21 watts, but it ships with an 18 watts charger in the box. It takes 1 hour and 50 minutes to charge the phone from 0 to full, which is, however, not the best result out there. One notable downgrade on the 5 Mark II when compared to the 1 Mark II is the lack of wireless charging. As you may expect from a Sony flagship, all of the connectivity options have been working fine. Here's my summary of pros and cons and the conclusion. Overall, the Sony Xperia 5 Mark II is a really good phone, even though it is not perfect. For me, the main shortcomings include the lack of face unlock feature and wireless charging. In camera department, the stock camera app is limited to 4K 30fps video recording and there is no dedicated night mode. Now the pros. The Xperia 5 Mark II is one of the most powerful compact phones you can buy. I'm not talking only about the sheer power that assures great overall performance, but also about really good and super fast cameras with plenty of manual controls and creative options, sharp 120Hz display, great battery life, and stellar audio experience. Last but definitely not least, all of this tech is crammed into a compact body that may not follow the latest design trends. This is the Sony design trend that makes the phone stand out from the crowd. Overall, despite the few shortcomings, I think that the Sony Xperia 5 Mark II is a really good smartphone. In fact, if you are looking for something compact yet powerful and packed with unique features, the Xperia 5 Mark II is definitely one of the best options on the market right now. As always, use the comment section down below if you have any questions. Also like the video if you liked it, please follow me on social media for all the latest updates. And as always, it was Linus, thank you for watching and see you soon.